ever. Getting elected mayor is even tougher. One of the things that I've learned, I knew as a sophomore in high school that I wanted to be a city councilman. It was an advent of the passing of 1977, the single-member districting opportunity. I was a sophomore, and I knew then my plan was to be a council member by the time I was age 40. It came at age 30, so I was okay with that. But one of the things that was interesting was how you lead and how you represent nuestra gente. How do we do it? As I said earlier, I understood the challenges of our communities. This year, we had the opportunity to elect a mayor who I think most people don't need to see differently in terms of the fact that when you have somebody who insists on putting people first, there's a difference. And guess what? She won with a large margin. It's always a challenge to be able to look at how people work in terms of, are they going to think all business? Are they going to think, remember us? I'm convinced that our mayor thinks of us first. Her questions are direct. Her queries are interesting because they come from a point of view of us. What will it be? How does it work for us? In the campaign, she talked about the opportunity to change poverty. The city of San Antonio has a poverty rate of 17%. People need jobs. People need opportunities for better wages and an opportunity to sustain their families without having any governmental help. You give them those tools, and then we have a stronger community. Many of you in this audience are doing that today. We thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce our mayor, Mayor Jones. You should be coming from somewhere. To the right. There she is.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Right. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. I very much appreciate the kind introduction and certainly the opportunity to spend with you all this morning. It's an honor to join you for the 2025 State of the Westside. To see more than 300 strong gathered this morning here in Edgewood, where so much history has taken place, is a true testament to the love, commitment, and vision that so many of you have for this community. Dr. Hernandez, thank you for having us in this great theater for the performing arts. I will say it's always special for me to come to this part of town as well. As many of you know, I'm half Filipino, and before we were able to build our church on the east side, Santo Niño de Cebu, St. Martin de Porres, right down the street, was very kind and hosted us and let us have our Filipino Mass on Sundays at 4 p.m. And so it was always a special opportunity for us to gather on the west side, and then for the many summers I spent at the Madonna Center. So in many ways, it feels a little bit of a homecoming, given how much time I spent here as a young person. Let me thank Prosper West for bringing us together. Please join me in recognizing Ryan Poole, CEO of Prosper West, and Megan Legacy, Chairman of the Board, along with the entire board of directors of Prosper West. So please, for their tireless work to build a stronger West Side. Your leadership and deep collaboration with residents, businesses, and partners set this foundation for everything we are celebrating today and everything we are striving to accomplish tomorrow. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the leadership of your district councilwoman, Councilwoman Castillo. Councilwoman Castillo, your councilwoman has been a tireless champion for this community and for the kinds of city investments that make a real difference in people's lives. We've seen her leadership with the Zarzamora Corridor Street Project, which touches more than 300 businesses and thousands of families who travel that corridor every single day. Safer, more efficient streets aren't just about traffic. They're about economic vitality, opportunity, and certainly quality of life. We've also seen her strong leadership with the Basila Frocks building, redevelopment in partnership with the Dream On Group. What was once an underutilized space is now transformed into a hub for community and business activity, and we're on the cusp of welcoming many more tenants into that. I will also say, as the mayor, I sit on the board of CPS, and as we are looking at that, frankly, strategic advantage that we have in the fact that we own our utility, I'm always cognizant, though, of how anything impacts four groups of folks. Our residents, our small businesses, the corporations that we have now, and the corporations we are looking to attract. One of the things, though, that helps me understand how well we are doing what we need to do is frankly, how well are people able to pay their bills? And when you look at those that are delinquent, it's actually much lower in District 5. And I asked the SAWS leadership, why is that the case? And they said, well, Councilwoman Castillo takes the time to help us knock on doors and explain to people the payment programs that are available to them. And so when I think about, her advocacy, but also the shoe leather, right, that is expended in her community, I think that was a perfect example of helping people understand the ways in which they can help themselves, which I think is a true marker of a leader. So thank you, Councilwoman Castillo. And thank you, Councilman Juan Solis, for your very kind remarks and showing us what public service continues to look like well beyond elected office. Through his work as a banker, as a leader with LISC, he's continued to champion this community. And I'm really thankful to also see Ms. Powell, I thought I saw her earlier, be here today and share more about the important work that LISC is doing to support this community. And of course, it's good, I thought I saw her, Cristina Valli, Cristina, the Guadalupe Arts Center behind me. She's in the back. Okay, I did see her. I want to thank her and Luis Carendio. They joined me. We hosted a delegation for Lanzarote, which is one of our sister cities, and actually one of the places in the Canary Islands where many of the initial Canary Island families came from. And for me, it was very important to bring a different group of folks around that table to ensure that as we strengthen this relationship, whether it be tourism, the arts, gastronomy, etc., we are in fact learning from people like Cristina who have wonderful successes, whether it be the Conjunto Festival or whether it be the Guadalupe Arts Center. So I very much appreciated her and Louis being able to join me just last week. And of course, we stand on the shoulders of giants. I just saw one of them backstage, and I see one here in the front row, former Mayor Henry Cisneros and Jamie Barrera, who will be sharing their perspectives later this morning. Their leadership through the Estar West initiative continues to guide our city through solutions that reflect both the urgency of today's needs and the long-term vision required to prevent displacement, expand affordable housing, and strengthen our infrastructure. I know she could not be here today, unfortunately, but I also want to recognize Graciela Sanchez for her work. I'm very excited about the opening of Museo del Westside on the 18th of October. She was kind enough to host a little breakfast for us a couple of weeks ago, and that is going to be a real treasure for our community as we celebrate the history, but also look at that place and the continued placemaking that will take place there. For those of you that don't know, Estar West stands for entrepreneurs and small businesses thriving alongside residents. It's a collaborative effort led by local community leaders with nearly 40 Westside stakeholders meeting regularly to plan and execute strategies for the future. From launching small business accelerators, to creating a real estate fund that redevelops blighted properties, to community engagement that ensures growth does not erase culture, Estar West is proving that equitable development is not only possible, it is achievable when we act together. And this is what I find so inspiring about the state of the Westside. It's not simply an annual event or a snapshot of progress. It's a gathering of people who care deeply about place, about people, and about purpose. It's a recognition that our Westside has unique cultural and economic assets, and that by lifting those assets, we can create pathways of prosperity that benefit the entire city of San Antonio. Obviously, there is a lot of work to do. There is a lot of work to do. And frankly, in this community, we recognize the very unique moment in time that we are in. Very unique moment in time. Not only do we have an opportunity with a generational investment to revitalize our downtown, we're also making these decisions in an economic environment where frankly many in this community will unfortunately disproportionately suffer based on some of the federal challenges, some of the federal cuts, which is why it's so important that this community continue to elevate the voices, the investments, the types of efforts that we ensure we are being strategic, but ensuring we are as resilient as we can be in light of what we anticipate happening. As your mayor, I want you to know that the city of San Antonio is committed to walking this journey with you. We will continue to invest in infrastructure and housing and small business and in cultural preservation. And we'll continue to support the leadership of organizations like Prosper West, GLISC, and ESTA West. And most importantly, we'll continue to listen. We will continue to listen because the vision for the Westside must be shaped by those who live here, who work here, and who love this place as we call home. I think it's also important that we listen to communities that have heard some of these stories and these playbooks before when we think about these generational investments. So it's really important that when we as a community are talking about where we are going, that it's a transparent process, it's a data-informed process. I think too often we have held on to the dream when we really needed to look at the hard numbers. Because I couldn't have said it better when Juan said earlier, I am in fact fighting for the people because due diligence is not anti-progress, due diligence is anti-poverty. Thank you for your time.